but I guess I could. It's interesting how people kind of lighten up as they get older. I feel like it's as, you get older, things don't matter as much.
Yeah, but I mean, you go to the villages for a day and you can see that can also go in the opposite direction.
Yeah, this is true.
And especially in the new climate we're in with COVID, I've just noticed my parents live by the villages, which for those who don't know is, I think, probably the largest retirement community in the world. I mean,
it's like the most coveted place to
at least in America.
I remember back in the day listening to the fucking AM radio, with the classics, Rush and everyone, like, you know how it was. And hearing that goddamn commercial, The Villages.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No, but I mean, I was in the heart of it.
And there was a TV commercial too. Yeah, you lived here, so it's probably.
It was always just happening, yeah.
And it's so funny because I always used to wonder as a little kid, like, what's the Villages? Like, what is that? And they kept advertising it. And of course, when you're that age, you don't have the concept that it's for older people.
To go and fuck like crazy.
And then I get this job with the freaking Apex Roofing, and I'm in the Villages all the time. Like, we're going to go to the Villages. We're going to go to the Villages. And we're over there knocking on doors all day, every day, getting cussed out.
Big time.
Yeah, oh yeah. And then, having the cops called constantly. And like this company I work for was just ruthless. And anyway, long story short, I'm like, God, I'm in the fucking Villages all the time now. Now I resent the Villages. If I see a golf cart like on the road, I get flashbacks and PTSD of that shit. I'm just like, dude, because it's a golf cart place.
It's it.
And they have their own lanes. And
they assume the complete right of way.
Let me tell you something.
Over vehicles. Go.
Golf carts. When you think of a golf cart, you think of the golf cart, the classic look. I've never seen such tricked out golf carts. Look, the Villages, there is more traffic with golf carts than regular cars. And I remember driving through and literally they have their own tunnels, passageways. It's like a fucking Mario Kart game board. And I would drive and I would see, like, I would be pulling the corner and I'd see, and then,
and some of those things zoom.
They zoom. Some of them are gas powered.
Right.
Some of them are fully enclosed like a little shell and they almost look like a smart car.
They look, and they put those old school bodies on them so it looks like an old Cadillac.
It's hilarious.
Shit.
They buy it and they build it to the point to where it just drive your fucking car.
Yeah, you might as well put that fucking, you're exactly right. They cost as much.
It's hilarious. And I don't know, there's a culture to it. Because
you're right.
My wife's grandmother lives in Homosassa.
Okay.
And they live in a neighborhood. And it's also got golf carts. And like her partner now, that was a priority to get a golf cart because you have to, like, and they don't take the car. Like, we're going to go meet so-and-so at the marina and we'll ride. And then we'll get to the main street. I'm like, this is where fucking cars go.
Exactly.
And they just, and then they go to the place. Like, they would rather take the golf cart because it's like this culture for them when you're older to have the golf cart.
And it's a status symbol.
It's a status symbol. The nicer the golf cart, too.
People judge each other on the fucking kit they have on their golf cart. If you've got one that was fresh off the course, you're not welcome at this club.
Oh, yeah. And the reason I despise it, and at the same time I want one really bad.
I know, it looks badass.
Because I live in Winter Garden.
Okay.
And it's a golf cart town as
Okay.
well. So not only do I go to the Villages and I'm surrounded by golf carts and golf cart owners, I'm clearly outnumbered. Clearly.
Yeah.
I come home from knocking on doors all day, getting cussed out, and I get onto my street, which is shared with golf carts. So then I have to ride behind them, and they go, and they're not going fast.
As much as they do.
They'll give me the okay to pass them and shit, and I'm just, but I got to go over a double yellow line. You're battling. Is this even legal on this street? I'm getting home, and it pisses me off. It infuriates me. Riding with the golf carts. But anyway, that was the whole, tangent on that with the Villages.
I think I still might remember the old people, and it ties into the golf carts, but especially with COVID, and I know it's because they are more susceptible to it, have really latched on to this certain entitlement. And I think that also translates to how they operate their golf carts. It's gotten worse since COVID. And that's really kind of when you started whipping up in those areas.
Yeah, I mean, because, well, COVID is what caused me to even get new jobs in the first place.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, that was all. But you know what, though? I knocked on their fucking doors. They would answer. No one even gave a shit up there because they all got the VAX, the jab, and they didn't care because when that shit was available, they all got it. And like, to be honest, I ran into more people. Like, I would say 80% of the people I ran into there didn't seem concerned. And then every now and then I'd run into one where they had like a piece of paper taped to their door with like the most illegible handwriting I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And it would say, if you're Amazon or this, please leave it at the door. Do not ring. We are not seeing any guests because of COVID. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to skip this fucking house.
There is a massive variety age-wise that comes to the villages. Doing pest control in there, we had certain customers that got in there right away at the 55 plus. It's a 55 plus community. We had, my parents could live in the villages. They don't. I mean, they live very close in proximity, but it's not the villages at all. And it's bizarre to think they could live in there. And we had certain customers who were young, and then you do have those on death's doorstep